and a 2032 first-rounder to the Nets for Cam Johnson, who had career bests in points per game and field goal percentage last season. And then the Lakers, they got their center, DeAndre Ayton. He's on a 2-year deal. Ayton held opponents to 54% shooting at the rim last season. It ranked 11th out of the 221 qualified players there. And then elsewhere in LA, after trading Norm Powell, the Clippers, they signed Bradley Beal here to a 2-year deal. That's despite a significant drop in usage after leaving the Wizards. Beal still shot 41% from three in his 2 seasons with the Suns. Also leaving the Suns, of course, you know his name, Kevin Durant. He was traded to the Rockets for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, and some picks here. KD, he turns 37 in September, but he scored 25 points a game while shooting 50% from the field and 40% from three in 3 straight seasons. The first player to do that in quite some time. So, Perk, I should have introduced you as a core of that championship team in 2008 as well, but all of those moves have gone down this summer. I'm introducing that as you now. But which one do you think brings your squad the closest to winning a championship?
Oh, by far it's the Houston Rockets. They're the only team, in my opinion, that's now looking eye to eye with the champs as far as the Oklahoma City Thunder. They had the pieces. They finished number 2 in the Western Conference last year. And what did they lack? They lacked a closer. Jalen Green couldn't be that. Kevin Durant is that. Arguably, in my eyes, the greatest scorer to ever touch the damn basketball. And they're loaded, stacked with wings, being able to keep their young guys, Tari Eason, Amen Thompson, Jabari Smith, that could play inside out, loves to stretch the floor. They got a Kogi, and they just got great depth, and they got a hell of a coach. I'm looking at the Rockets right now as the second best team in the NBA, and they're inches behind the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I think it's night and day for us what they've done this offseason for us, everybody else.
Well, I'm happy that Perk went out there and made sure to consider the Oklahoma City Thunder because the Thunder have done a great job of bringing their guys back. I know they're excited. They have an exciting group, but I'm looking to see the confidence that comes over them having a chip now. When you start talking about champions and returning to the floor after that, there's a little bit of a swagger and a little bit of a extra oomph that comes with it. And to see Chet, one of these guys that, you know, we saw flashes of it, but we didn't get to see the full thing because he's such a young guy. Like, these are the moments where we start to say, hey, we're about to see the same team about to reign for a little bit. If we're gonna see one of those guys come out and do something, it's gonna be this year, so I'm excited for them.
Man, y'all need to stop playing.
Here we go.
The Denver Nuggets. Come on, man. Cam Johnson,
Yeah,
Valanciunas,
yeah,
who could start for a lot of teams,
without doubt.
got Bruce back, and they took the champs, your champs, to 7 games. They're a problem. They're number 2.
Yeah, they're also in the Western Conference. All of these teams that you mentioned are out west. So I'm going to take a team in the Eastern Conference and say the New York Knicks because they didn't lose a star player to an Achilles injury, right? Everybody else in the East has injuries to deal with. And I like the addition of Mike Brown. I like Jordan Clarkson joining that team. I like Yabusele joining that team.
Yeah.
I know those aren't big, flashy moves, but in the Eastern Conference, all you got to be is steady and healthy this year.
Right, you really have to be healthy. But bench scoring was a huge issue for the New York Knicks last year. They seem to have addressed that. It's not sexy, but bringing the guys back for if you get on a mic, we will find you this summer, my friends. We mean that with love. Like Atlanta's newest big man, Kristaps Porzingis. This is in Latvian, so this has been translated from the Latvian outlet Sporta Studija. He said, I think expectations are high. It's a great situation for me to come in and contribute, maybe even better than Boston, where it was championship or bust. Iman, can KP make as big of a difference for the Hawks as he did for the Celtics with less pressure?
I think right now KP needs to make sure that he's healthy. I think that's all we expect from him. I do not expect KP to come in somewhere and to change a franchise or to bring something that we haven't seen. I think that he is great at keeping the train on the tracks and doing things when he's healthy, but that's what he needs to make sure that he is available and healthy.
I think both of us think that Atlanta could be very interesting in an open Eastern Conference this year. Drew Holiday, another Celtic that got shipped out of Boston here. Here was a 2-time champ on what his expectation is with Portland.
Honestly, it's to win. I feel like that's always been the ultimate since you've started playing basketball is to win. And whatever that may look like. Obviously taking small wins is great, but winning is what we do, is what we play this game for. So if it's getting to the playoffs, if it's winning a championship, I feel like winning is the purpose and the reason why I'm here.
Love kiddos at pressers here. Mark, what direction do you think the Blazers are going?
They're trying to get into playing. They feel like they could do that this season because they have a really nice mix of vets and young guys now. And the two guys you're going to have to watch the most this season that they want to take a jump is Scoot Henderson and Shaden. And Scoot in particular, you got Chauncey there, you got Dame there, and you got Drew there. They're expecting them to take it to a new level, and Drew's actually excited to be in Portland.
There's a lot of mentorship there for Scoot as well. Speaking of guards, let's check in on another one who was dealt this summer, the newest and the oldest, the seasoned Clipper, Chris Paul. He was seen getting shots up in Las Vegas, fresh off of giving a new age-focused nickname for his new squad in LA. Did y'all hear this?
He said they been calling us the unction.
Where the function? Where the function?
Oh my! Put it in the hotline reel. James Harden has gone berserk.
Is this a uncle function?
It's like a function that the uncles, you expect to see the uncles at.
The uncles are pulling up to the function. Rosters aren't finalized. However, the Clippers' projected 11-man rotation will have an average age of 33.4 years on opening night. It's worth mentioning, you're wondering where that stacks up, the oldest team in NBA history weighted by playing time was the 2000-2001 Utah Jazz. That was at 32.6 years old. So those Jazz, they did win 53 games, but you remember they ran out of steam in the first round of the playoffs. Perk, with age comes experience, it comes wisdom. Aging like fine wine is a saying for a reason, but ultimately, is this going to help the Clippers to have this seasoning, let's call it, or hurt them this season when they're trying to compete in the crowded West?
6 years ago, I probably would be all in on the Clippers back when they had the term vets matter. Vets don't matter anymore because these young boys around the league, their opponents, it's the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Houston Rockets, the Detroit Pistons, whoever. They don't give a damn. They don't respect the older guys, and they shouldn't. They're going to go at them. And again, my issue with the Clippers is not only just their health, but their age when it comes postseason time. And can a James Harden, can a Bradley Beal, can a Kawhi Leonard slide those puppies on the perimeter and get stops in an elite conference where you have so many dynamic players? Anthony Edwards, Ja Morant, Zion, SGA, the list goes on. So it's going to hurt them, in my opinion, when it comes down, when it matters the most. So I'm not in on the Clippers. The age is just too old. Vets don't matter no more.
I don't know about saying vets don't matter out loud, Perk, but I hear you a lot when you say that I'm impressed with it when it's written down on paper. But like me and you know, Perk, when you talk about going into the playoffs and making a long stretch, making sure that you guys are in a position to win late in the season, can you get those guys to all be healthy, all be on one accord toward the end? I think that's been the problem with them in the last couple of years, wherever they're at with their respective teams. But I think to have them all together and to get too excited about it when we know what it's about and being healthy and everybody, it take a little bit of luck. But now you're doing it with a guy that's 40. I can't get too excited. I'm always going to be happy to watch Chris Paul play basketball. Though.
I will say this. I covered that Game 7 between the Clippers and the Nuggets, and where James Harden really just ran out of gas. And when you have all these older guys, they're going to make it so they don't have to play that many minutes. Like James Harden was an All-NBA player last year. He played so many minutes, and he ran out of gas in that game 7. He's not going to have to do that this year because he got Chris Paul on the team, got Bradley Beal on the team. And I think, they're old, but they're all in great shape, and they can lean on each other.
I know that for somebody to be able to get into their rhythm, they need the ball. So it's like sharing the sugar, I understand as far as health goes, but my concern is rhythm. And seeing a guy like James Harden, he needs the ball to get cooking.
True.
That's the James that we all know and love. Yeah. We want him to have the ball.
The system.
Exactly. So it's like with certain things like that, Chris Paul, ball dominant. When you have guys like that, not having them be able to dominate the ball scares me when it talks about being their benefit.
Hey, Aaliyah said age ain't nothing but a number. I'm more worried about them being hurt than their age.
Right.
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's an interesting strategy when you look at the fact that the team that just won a championship was the youngest since the Blazers in '77. And then some top summer vacation moments. Luka,
Skinny
the
Luka.
Dykeman, knocks this one down.
Low-cal Doncic.
We're expecting him in Los
practices
Angeles
that
in the
shot.
next couple of days. Ja Morant with the crazy little self-lob here
Don't show the other one.
in China.
All right, well,
Ooh.
that's when you know you have you run into the posts in the back.
And how about Klay Thompson? We have more highlights of him
Oh,
later,
man.
different types. But
Best summer ever.
72 straight threes
Layup.
here.
Goodness.
Woo-hoo. Shoot or shoot.
Clay, let me know when we going fishing on the boat.
Yeah.
Just the
He'll
two
take
of
you out.
Or let's
Oh, yeah,
revisit
you ain't invited anymore.
ESPN.com's post-free agency power rankings, right? These are the teams maybe, we've seen some great moments this summer, but these are the teams that our experts say had the bottom 5 summers here. The Pelicans coming in at 26, the Hornets, the Nets, the Wizards, and the Utah Jazz. After New Orleans went 21-61 last season, ESPN Bet Sportsbook has the Pelicans win total at 30.5 this season. So we have 2 people on our panel who feel very strongly about one of these bottom 5 teams. One panelist, in fact, had a 27-minute solo monologue.
27 minutes?
Yeah, 27 minutes, no commercial breaks. That would be one, Mr. Kendrick Perkins. What direction, sir, are the Pelicans going?
Goodness.
Cling.
They're trending upwards. I could see them mimicking what the Detroit Pistons did last season. A lot of people been critical of the Pelicans, whether it was because of the draft and they traded away next year's pick. But this roster is loaded with talent. Derek Queen, I know he's going to be coming back off of injury. Probably won't see him probably till mid-season, but he's going to be special. The kid Fears that they drafted, he's elite. And again, they have elite wings on the perimeter that could play both ways. Derek Queen just might be the most skilled player come out of this draft. Zion Williamson, we heard the stories about him this offseason. He cleaned house. I talked to his agent, the great Duffy, and he told me that Zion is on the right path and he's on Zion heels like a pair of church socks to make sure that he goes in the right direction and do what he needs to do to be available and play high-level basketball. I'm all in with the Pelicans.
You know who else is on Zion Hills? Joe Dumars. It's not every day in Summer League that you see a GM sitting next to a star player during an entire game. And from what I'm hearing from Joe, he's been really, really impressed with Zion. When Zion plays, and I know people are going to say that when he plays, they win. They're a problem when he plays. Trey is a problem from outside. Irv is one of the best defenders in the league. DeJounte Murray, when he comes back, the Pelicans will be a problem, and I think 26 is really disrespectful.
Look, I'm really high on Trey Murphy. I'm really high on Herb Jones. DeJounte Murray, though, he's going to be out at least half the season, right? He tore his Achilles last January. I don't disagree that Zion, I love watching Zion play when he is out there and when he is healthy. I think that he is excellent. I'm struggling to go with you on this one, Perk, in a crowded Western Conference, seeing them being a team like maybe they're competing for the 9-10. I might be wrong. Amon, it seems like this team will go as Zion goes, and we've said that a lot the last couple of years.
Without a doubt, I think that Zion being healthy is exciting for any franchise. Like they were saying, when he does play and he is available, they do better in the winning department. I can't lie about that. But having him at that size and seeing him healthy all the time is going to be a problem. That's the same thing I'm seeing when I see the young guy, Queen. I see that same body type. It scares me when I look at the league because I look at the league now and I see that everybody is in that form of we can run, we can stay up and down the floor, but we are very, very skilled.
So you saying the New Orleans cuisine is a problem?
I love New
I
Orleans.
resemble that.
Same.
That's what
I don't know if
Those
it's the
hard-boiled
seafood.
oysters.
I don't
Gumbo,
know, man.
jambalaya.
Hey, friends, the Pelicans, though, they aren't the only team that Perk had a problem with from the ESPN Power Rankings. Surprise, surprise. There are 2 other teams in the same state that he spies something on.
I'm Kendrick Perkins, better known as Big Perk, and nothing gets past me.
Freeze!
Just when you thought it did get past me, there I am. I spy a problem. I spy it all. Carry the hell on. Hello, world. I know y'all used to seeing this 300-plus pound Morris chestnut, so damn it, I need a haircut. My barber flying in today. That's one problem. But I got another problem. It seemed like two site entities on two different pages right now. Here's the first thing. ESPN Power Rankings came out. They ranked the Dallas Mavericks 13th, which I believe is too low. That's another conversation. And the Spurs 16th. Now, here's the problem that I have. You go down to the desert in Las Vegas, and all of a sudden, they have the San Antonio Spurs winning more games than the Dallas Mavericks. They have the Spurs at 43.5 and the Mavs at 40.5. I have a problem with that. I don't believe it's true. Number one, I believe that the Mavs are ranked too low on the ESPN Power Rankings. Number two, the Mavs will win 50-plus games. Whoa. When you talk about having a great mixture of vets and youth, they have that. I believe they're the third best team in the Western Conference. Whoa. We just saw Clay. He found happipness on and off the floor. They arguably have the best front line in basketball, and Daniel Gafford, Lively, and Anthony Davis, and you throw in a sprinkle of P.J. Washington and Cooper Flagg. Marshall was pretty damn good for them last year. Yeah. He's back, and the pickup of D'Angelo Russell to hold it down till Kyrie Irving returns with the leadership and head coaching of Jason Kidd. They're going to be a force defensively, and I think we forget at times how special and how dominant Anthony Davis could look when he's healthy and available on the floor.
So the only concern I have is that Kyrie Irving said on that stream recently, Ramona, that he isn't sure that he will be ready at all this season. We've heard different things on when we could see him. So who are you higher on, the Mavericks or the Spurs here? Because Perk is bringing up a whole lot of different teams and different points.
Perk, I'm actually with you. I'm higher on the Mavericks as well.
Wow.
I think Cooper Flagg is ready to play. I think Anthony Davis is on a mission. And I know that Kyrie Irving may not come back, and he's really important to that team. But they got D'Angelo Russell. They have people to fill in. They got a whole squad out there, and if they're back and healthy, I think they're further along than the Spurs, who still need to figure everybody out. They still got young guys on that team, and people give them a hard time because of the way the season finished. But remember, they played their way into the play-in tournament when they probably should have tanked, right? And that shows me that they want to win right now. They're not trying to just grow and develop a team.
Yeah, I know that D'Angelo Russell got on people's bad side. I know what he did. I know. But when you talk about Kyrie Irving being out and you bring in a guy like D'Angelo Russell, you're talking about somebody that I thought it was streaky when I first saw it. I thought it was very streaky. But when I started looking at his development and what he brings to the table, it's actually pretty consistent work as far as an offensive threat and bringing that to a team when you have Cooper Flagg. Again, I know
you're
in
love with him.
I know.
I don't be high on guys like that. Yeah. But when I watched him in Summer League, I watched him from a plus-minus standpoint. And when I watch what he brings to a team, a ball club, it's like I'm watching a guy that's 5 years in. Like, he doesn't come to the game and add something where it's like this young guy that's just ultra talented. It's like you can see the development and say, hey, man, he's picking his spot. Hey, man, he knows this is time to score.
You don't think there'll be growing pains there, though?
There's definitely going to be growing pains, but I just like it when your name is Cooper. Your name is Cooper Flagg.
The pressure's not on him.
I don't care what you do. Your name's Cooper Flagg. You're Captain America to me.
Captain America is a new nickname, and I think that we are going
Dallas
to Dallas
50-yard line, for sure. He's the 50-yard line if I ever saw it.
Well,
moonlight for the Cowboys.
Speaking of the Mavericks and moving things up to the 50-yard line, let's check in on what they're up to on their summer vacations. Because if we were doing a ranking of who's having the best summer,
here we go.
Captain Clay's got to be up at the very top,
here we go.
His new girlfriend, Meg the Stallion, they had their latest adventure yesterday on his boat, and it was streamed for all of us to see.
Hey, Clay is taking me on another adventure, and we're going fishing.
We're going fishing.
Preach. The only thing I trust is this Houston and he's strong. Preach. Let me go.
Hey, go a little right. Go starboard.
What's up, sexy?
Get moved up, babe, so I get this title.
Boy, it's Alpha Man.
Oh, that's forward. Fish won't be able to see me coming through the kelp, man.
I'm delighted, Perk.
Yeah.
I am delighted by this.
I'm telling you, hey, it's the Texas women, man. They do something
Here
to
you go.
They make that guy a character.
I'm just wondering, can we get you in one of those wetsuits? Can we get one of you in those little zip-up wetsuits?
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm a whale in the water.
Holmgren all this offseason. And spoiler, that kind of long-term stability, it's also what lands Oklahoma City in the #1 spot in ESPN's off-season rankings that dropped today on ESPN.com. But let's just take a look at the rest of those rankings that were all released today here. So the back half of the rankings, it's filled with sort of perennial lottery teams here with two exceptions. You see the Celtics, and then you see the Indiana Pacers. Remember the Achilles injuries, Jason Tatum, Tyrese Halliburton, both franchises, they traded away talent that was essential to their recent successes. But one team's cast-offs is another team's treasure. So the Milwaukee Bucks, they come in at 14 after they signed Miles Turner, while the Hawks, they find themselves coming in at 12 with the additions of Kristaps Porzingis and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. So that gets us to the top 10. It is fueled by this season's off-season moves. The Magic, they jumped up to 8th, trading for Desmond Bane. The Clippers, they come in at 7. Bradley Beal, John Collins, Chris Paul. The Rockets, they have the #2 spot after signing Kevin Durant. So let's welcome in our senior writer, Tim Bontemps, who contributed to these rankings on ESPN.com. Tim, when you look at your biggest takeaway from the top 10, what would that be?
To me, Malika, it's Houston, as you just mentioned, being in that second spot, and to a lesser degree, the Denver Nuggets being third. You look at the top 3 spots, all being dominated by Western Conference teams. It goes back to those Achilles injuries you mentioned before with Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton. The league, even more than ever, is tilted toward the Western Conference. And after that Kevin Durant trade back in June, Durant going to the Rockets in exchange for Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green, what became the 10th pick in the draft, Kaman Malawak from Duke. That addition of Kevin Durant to the Rockets, a team that, as we saw in the Warriors series, is an exceptional defensive team, but struggled at times to score, and particularly Jalen Green struggled at times to be their lead perimeter scorer. To put Kevin Durant in, a guy who, even at this stage of his career, is a 50, 40, 90 guy in the high 20s per game, he is exactly the kind of piece they needed. And we could very easily be seeing a Houston-Oklahoma City Western Conference Finals, which, Malika, I know you and I would both be very excited to see Kevin Durant back in Oklahoma City with a chance to go back to the NBA Finals.
Can you imagine that atmosphere?
Oh, it's bad.
It would be awesome.
It's bad. I've seen it. It's
It
not
would be
good.
awesome.
Bring out the cupcakes. It's not. Perk knows it's not. It's bad.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyways, good list. I don't understand why Denver is not #2. With Houston, I show and prove. Kevin Durant is amazing, one of the greatest players of all time, but it's going to take some time for them to gel, figure it out. They lost in the first round. They got to earn it. I'm not going to give them their flowers this quick. Denver, I know what they are, and that trade they made, the additions they made, exceptional. I like Denver and this is a team that pushed the champs to 7 games.
I like them too.
I like them as #2. Also, how are the Knicks not higher? Why are they not above Cleveland? Like, the Knicks were in the Eastern Conference Finals. They added 2 shooters. They got a solid, great coach. I would have flipped those 2. I mean, Cleveland, they lost. They didn't make it to these finals 2 years in a row.
All right.
I like the Knicks ahead of them.
I don't think anyone's going to argue. I think that's maybe a little bit of dealer's choice. I don't know if anyone's going to argue with you on flip-flopping those 2. It's a matter of decimal points that we're talking about that separate.
Tim got that look, though. Tim got that look.
Tim has put a lot of work into this list. I did, before you respond to that point, Tim, I'm hoping that we can hit on the Lakers being #10 here, Perk. Not because they shouldn't be 10th, but I am curious. We've spent the beginning of our show talking about the lack of moves from the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors are ahead of them, and then the Orlando Magic and Los Angeles Clippers all ahead of the Lakers, Perk.
So three things.
Okay,
Number one, Tim and everybody else who made this list need to be fined. Number two, or they need vacation time because this list is horrible. This list is horrible, and the reason being is because you have the Lakers at number 10. That is beyond disrespectful. The Lakers are the best team in California right now. The Clippers, they're old. That's a nursing home. They have too many concerns, especially when it comes down to the health of Kawhi Leonard, who's their best player. When you talk about the Orlando Magic, like, are we serious right now? Are they better than the Lakers? Absolutely not. And then we go to the Warriors. We just did a whole segment about how the Warriors did absolutely nothing, about how Al Horford, Gary Payton II are waiting on the Jonathan Kuminga drama with the Warriors to get resolved. And so when you think about the Lakers getting a young athletic big and addressing the center position and getting a DeAndre Ayton, you look at them addressing the perimeter and getting a Marcus Smart, a primary defender, a point of attack defender, and then Luka is in shape. LeBron James is happy. He's been posting. He's ready for the season. He's working out. And you mean to tell me that they're number 10 on this list behind the Clippers, Magic, and Warriors? Oh, hell no.
The producers are in my ear saying we need to move on to the next topic. But, Tim, I can't let Perk call for your vacation time and not give you 20 seconds to respond here.
I'll be very quick. We are in late July, and we just got a very impassioned speech from Perk about why these rankings are wrong. That's exactly why we did the rankings. I think I should get a pat on the back and not a fine. That's what I would say.
I also think that potentially in a couple of days or even maybe a week, we could be revisiting these rankings. These are only the first off-season rankings because there is a major deal that the Lakers could strike as early as this weekend. All right, let's move through a couple more topics around the league while we have you, Tim. We'll move off your list. It's the latest edition of Chop It or Drop It. It's been a while. You all know how this goes. I'm going to give you a topic. We're going to choose whether we chop it up or we drop it and move on, starting with LeBron James and Mav Carter on a yacht. That's meh. But then you see LeBron, Maverick, and Nikola Jokic's agent on a yacht with the caption, and maybe folks are going to get a little excited. Perk, chop it or drop it. Are we seeing some business dealings here for the future?
Off the court, if that was LeBron James, Rich Paul, and Nikola's agent, instead of Mav Carter, I would say chop it, but we go drop it. Because
with
this
all
has probably
respect to
nothing
Mav.
to do with the game.
James wants his respect to what, you might say? Well, evidently, not everyone respects the Lakers' most recent title. In a story posted today by The Athletic, Daryl Morey, who was with Houston back in 2020, he weighed in on his thoughts on the bubble championship. He said, had the Rockets won the title, I would absolutely have celebrated it as legitimate, knowing the immense effort, the resilience required. Yet, everyone I speak to around the league privately agrees that it doesn't truly hold as a genuine championship. Perhaps the lasting legacy of the NBA bubble is that the NBA should be proud of its leadership at both the beginning and the end of the pandemic, even though the championship will forever be marked by an asterisk. Perk, I'm going to go to you first. Mark and I were both there. Jealousy maybe doing some heavy lifting here. What do you think? deserve to be an asterisk next to this banner?
Well, two things. One, why is Daryl Morey even talking about this? We would like to hear you address what Joel Embiid talked about a few weeks ago. Like, talk about your organization. There's some cleaning up that you need to be doing. Here we are 5 years removed from the bubble championship, and now we're talking about an asterisk. We wouldn't be having this conversation. It has nothing to do with the bubble or the actual championship or even the Lakers. It has everything to do because LeBron James won it. Outside of that, it was one of the greatest championships, in my opinion, and hardest championships. We heard about Damian Lillard coming out saying like he felt like he did a bid. We had some all-time great performances in that championship. You remember, in that playoff bubble. You remember Donovan Mitchell and Murray when they went at it?
That's what we were talking about.
Did you remember how Paul George earned the nickname Pandemic P because Jamal Murray and Jokic walked them down from a 3-1 deficit? Like, we saw some great playoff basketball in the bubble without fans. Yeah. Guys competed at a high level, and the champ won. So I don't want to hear that from Daryl Morey.
Mental fortitude was taken to win it.